do you get disenfranchised at all when you see the hypocrisy? And it's not even a side thing. I just break it down to this election. This is how I've broken it down. You have two choices. You can vote for a man that can stand trial, or you can vote for a man who's unfit to stand trial. And that's the way I pretty much look at it. Would you agree if that's an accurate statement at this point? If you just cut all the narratives out, I think it just comes down to that simple, isn't it? Is it? And hey, feel free, it's yours if you want it. But I'm just putting it up there. I feel like, is it that basic? Is it that simple?
I think so. And I think it's maybe even more basic than that, which is just that people want their lives back, Tyrus. And I think there's so many people who really bought the hype about Donald Trump, maybe even, 4 years ago, 8 years ago, and they said, I can't vote for this guy. They say he's bad. They say he's X, Y, or Z. I don't like his personality. I don't like his tweets. And they fell for it. And now they're being punished on the other side of it by everything that's happening that's gone wrong in our country. And you can trace it back to one person, Joe Biden, and all of the decisions he has made. His first day in office, he did things like shutting down the Keystone XL pipeline. We know how that impacted our energy here in America, gas prices through the roof, inflation continuing to go up. It allowed countries like Russia to invade Ukraine, Iran to fund Hamas to invade Israel and cause all the atrocities over there. He also did things just to say I reversed Donald Trump's policies, like opening up the border. And so people's lives are worse off now than they were when Donald Trump was in office. So I think at the very basic of everything, people are like, I can't afford to vote for Joe Biden again. My life cannot be sustained another 4 years in this direction if this is how we're going. And they don't care that Donald Trump was convicted of 34 felonies. Everyone knows what a hot bunch of garbage that is, and that it would have never happened to any other person aside from Donald Trump. They just want a person they know will go in there and fight for what is going to happen in this country that'll make their life better. And you can't, there's no competition. You can compare two presidents and two presidencies, and everybody knows that things were going better for their lives, for our country, and really for the world when Donald Trump was in office. So yeah, you got to take the person who's fit to stand trial. It's Donald Trump, who can stand trial and did, regardless of the fact that he shouldn't have even been there.
I think you put the hammer on the nail. I think the biggest, most dangerous decision that happened to this country was when the first thing he did was he shut down that pipeline. Because what he effectively did was he made Saudi Arabia a super player, China one step closer to the global market. And people will be like, well, how do you figure that? Because when America controlled the oil prices, we controlled, that was the leash on Russia. That was what kept China dependent on us. And that's what made Saudi Arabia behave. They would damn sure not miss a handshake with President Trump. They wouldn't have done pulled any of that shit, because he'd be like, oh, for real? Guess what? I'm going to drop the prices of oil. Let's go $8. Let's see how that goes for a while, because he who controls the oil controls the world. And the first thing that was done, and Russia's not invading anybody when they don't have the finances to do it. And they didn't have the finances under President Trump because we, one, didn't buy oil. We didn't need it. We're self-contained. And two, everyone wanted to buy ours. And so we set the price. He who sets the price of oil runs this country. And listen, I didn't pass the bar. I graduated from a teacher's college. Be average. Okay, but some of those classes effectively there was some basket weaving and some dance classes in there, just to keep the numbers up. But as a regular Joe American, in terms of like coming up and learning about politics and stuff, that's pretty easy to fall behind.
It's common sense.
Yes.
It's common sense, Tyrus. That's the problem, is that there is no common sense that is justifying anything going on out there. It is all about, these woke initiatives. It's all virtue signaling, identity politics. None of it at the end of the day has any grounding in common sense. And people are desperate to get back to some semblance of common sense, things that they can say, oh, I understand why you did that. Nobody knows why we're doing so many of the crazy things that we're doing as a country right now, except just to say we did them and add another flag to the roster to hang out in front of the White House. It's crazy.
Well, I think this administration, I describe it as the feelings administration, because they felt like he had to do something wrong, and they were able to probably get the first feelings conviction in the history of the world. But at the same time, I also think they punched another ticket. I think they punched his ticket to the White House, because I think a lot of Americans saw that this will get beat on an appeal like that. I mean,
for sure.
They put all their eggs in their one basket just for the magic word of saying convicted felon. That's all. And I think Biden broke it out. President Biden broke it out. I think his last little speech he had or whatever. And I was proud of him because he didn't have to, he only had to say it once.
Wow.
Usually whenever
good for him.
Speaks,
it must have only been written in the teleprompter one time.
No. Like when he talked trash to the president. Now listen, one of the reasons. Now here's the funny thing, because you talk about how much they hate. They're on to him. They go after you guys. Do you know that everyone loved President Trump before he got into politics? And it was the right. Yeah, before that he was in movies as himself. You know how hard that is to do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm obviously they're going to take Home Alone 2 off the Christmas movie list, because now I'm sure it's an oppressive white nationalistic movie, because President Trump was in the movie as himself. And nobody was in the movie theater going, who's that? He was that loved.
They knew.
I often pose this question. Do you think if he would have gone down the escalator, let me take you back in the time machine. He's going down the escalator, and when he gets to the bottom, he says, I'm running for the Democratic Party. Do you think this level of, because the Republicans, we don't know how to, not feelings. We'll just fact stuff, but we don't do feelings. You think they would, I still think he would have been president. If he would have ran as Democrat, I still think he would have won. But they would have loved him more than anything. Do you think it was because he went to the other side? That's where all this comes from? Because I try to find the origin story and everything. Like De Niro, I swear when they were maybe in high school, Trump got his girlfriend that he had been wanting to ask out, something to that effect. There's usually a woman involved in that stuff. So, but the hate is just, I feel like it's betrayal. I feel like they're mad he knows them too well.
Yes. Well, it's a couple of things. First of all, I say this all the time when I speak places. Had Donald Trump come down that golden escalator and announced he was running for president as a Democrat, he and our entire family would have been lauded as the next coming of Camelot, like the Kennedys, beloved, embraced, all the things. We all know that, Tyrus. That's obvious. But the problem with Donald Trump is exactly what you said. He knew them too well. He stood to expose them too much. And when he started going out and they had a speech that was written. If you ever notice, he tucked his speech on June 15, 2015, right in his jacket pocket, never to be seen again. And he just freewheeled it out there. And he was spitting cold, hard facts at them about things like China, about things like the southern border. And when he went off script and started telling people the things that a lot of people were thinking about in the back of their mind, but they were like, we can't actually say these things. They were like, oh my God, not only does this guy stand to expose us, you can't control him either. This is dangerous. We got to shut him down. Let's boycott him. Let's get rid of the ties at Macy's, the whole bit. They thought that they were going to take him down in that very first week after he announced he was running for president. And he punched him back so hard that here we are 9 years later, literally looking at him becoming the 47th president, despite 4 indictments, despite 34 felony count convictions, despite a mugshot, despite it all. But yes, it's because he knew them too well, and that's terrifying to them. And it's the same reason, by the way, they desperately want to keep him out of that White House, because now he knows all those swamp creatures in D.C. too, and they're petrified of what that could mean for them when Donald Trump's back there.
Well, I think what's really scaring him is that the American people are seeing it. And you know what? We'll take a 3 a.m. tweet at this point. And it'd actually be nice to have a president that when he goes off script, we don't need EMTs to come find him. So, with that, you know what? I know you got a million things going on. I really appreciate you coming on, maintaining with me, just to chat and check on everybody. Family's doing good. You guys are doing great. You got a smile on your face when most people would probably be in a horrible mood. I'm sure your social media life is just amazing. with all the hate out there. But I think nothing hurts haters more than
they're
seeing
so nice to us,
big,
Tyrus.
after this interview, I'm sure we'll all just be in the hate
Yeah.
band together. But come get some, because nothing hurts more than a big, successful smile.